But yeah, thank you everyone for waiting with us this long. The vetoes and the breaks have finally been dealt with, and now we're going to be kicking off our quarterfinals. We're not quite in the semis yet. Our quarterfinals here on 2000 Atmospheres LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have a blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He just came out of the military, and of course, he's here to support our boys and coming in here to, playing our open tournament. He is currently teamless, but still repping Papa KJ with that Psystorm decal. He is true. Okay, so.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Singaporean Zerg player representing Team GDA. It is Nameless.
Oh,
and fun fact, as we were getting into this game, he was like, "Yo, what the hell did Chocolate do?" And I was like, "Spine Rush, mate." He's like, "Chocolate Zerg?" So, my bad, I forgot.
He's like, well, yeah, I think by now I'm pretty much know that Chocolate and Nameless are both Zerg, but that was a while where I was a little bit confused for whatever reason. I thought Nameless was Terran. You know what it was?
Mm-hmm.
It's because Nameless has a nickname. He has a different name in-game as well, which is Space Marine.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you see a name like that, you're like, yeah, obviously they play Terran, right? Really not. It's like calling yourself Raynor and not playing Terran. It's calling yourself Raynor and playing Zerg, you know?
It's like calling yourself Reaper and playing Zerg.
Yeah. Shaking my head, guys.
It's
It's like naming yourself, No, what? I can't remember. That was a player who I think was from Taiwan or something, who named themselves Zeratul or whatever, but they actually played Terran.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the details on that. I just know it was Protoss related, but they don't play Protoss.
Yeah. Shaking my head. It can be really confusing sometimes, especially if you're unfamiliar with the player. But speaking of being familiar with the players, okay. So I was surprised when I saw Nameless go hatch first. He went hatch gas pool, and I was like, okay, let's go. Let's see what you got, Nameless. And he is rushing out that lair.
Yeah, I too was surprised that what looked like Nameless trying to play more of a macro game here to start things off with, especially after he heard about how well the spine rushes could work out, but it is technically still a macro game. He is teching up, but it's not a macro game that he really intends to last that long.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we'll see what the plan is here with this fast lair. He still hasn't taken the rest of his gases, so that's throwing me off a little bit here. He's working on +1 range, so this may just be for roaches and kind of a safer way to work up towards a third base. We'll see, as at the moment True is in the dark. He hasn't checked with Lings or Overlords or anything to really see what is going on.
And that will be his downfall, potentially. He's sitting out of the Ling now, and yeah, he sees the research. Now, This could always be a fake out in True's head. In True's head, he could be thinking, yes, this could be a fake out. We know it's not, though.
Exactly. Like, True, he sees the Roach Warren researching, so he's well aware of the timing of the lair and what the lair is being used for. As you said, for all he knows, all 4 gases have been taken and a Spire is on the way, but that is not the case, so True is in a pretty good position at the moment. Meanwhile, Nameless is the one now looking to scout and confirm that there is a third base. I'm just curious if Nameless is going to try and hit a timing with this, or if he's going to try and wait longer, get a third, work on +2 instead.
I almost feel like he may as well try to hit that timing right, as he knows that there is a third base out right now for True, but I don't know.
No! Nameless was going for that third base. He's banking a lot of minerals, but True is doing a very good job at delaying it and being as annoying as possible.
That was ruthless, man. I just saw that one poor drone get pounced upon by a wave of Lings. That, aye.
Yeah. Feels bad, man. Feels bad for that poor drone. I mean, Nameless got it anyway. And again, this is kind of like a quote-unquote safe way to play, where sure, his third base is a lot later, and sure, his economy is lower than his opponent's. But with this, like, he doesn't get Bane busted, right? Like, he had that wall at his natural base. He's on roaches, and he is working on +2.
Yeah, he's going to be able to hit that upgrade quite a lot quicker, but yeah, I don't know about this move out right now from Nameless.
Yeah, I mean, he can afford to do this because he has rich speed. So even though True has a bigger army supply, like, there's no world where Nameless should get caught out. Like, he can get a couple of free kills, and he should be able to get the hell out of here without losing his army.
Oh no! No, not if the Lings come back to pin the roaches, and he is able to make it out of there with the bulk of his army, but that's still a few too many casualties than it should have been.
Yeah, exactly, and True is not stopping, by the way. He is going lairless. Nothing but hatcheries here. He's just pumping out nothing but roaches. +1 is about to finish up, and True is hitting with such a strong timing here. It's very all-in, again, because there is no lair behind this, but, like, Nameless doesn't have anything to deal with this. He's got a handful of roaches, but that's it.
Yeah, the upgrades are still pretty far ahead. What am I saying? The upgrades are still a long ways away. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, for now, True isn't hitting with any sort of disadvantage. In fact, he actually has a supply advantage, funnily enough. So, yeah, I just really don't see a way Nameless holds this unless True, for some reason, decides to back away and go back home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, both Evo Chambers and the Roach Warren were just sniped. We have a massive Ling Flood coming in as well. There are no roaches in production for Nameless. Like, he just can't make it, and he's forced to pull the boys.
Oh, it's a bit of a unfortunate sign of desperation here when a Zerg player is forced to pull the drones. And it's keeping him alive, but it's just delaying the inevitable, really. GG. True takes game number 1.
GG, well played. It's one of those builds where Nameless is a player. He had a really nice timing with his Overseer. I think he did go into the main to scout. I could be wrong. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but like, you need to scout and you need to be aware, like, hold on, where's your lair? Something's missing here.
Yeah. Well, I do recall, yeah, he did get the Overseer in there, but it got killed by the Queens, if not mistaken, before it could really scout. But yeah, regardless, we see how important information is in a game of StarCraft 2, and especially in a mirror matchup.
Yeah. It's something where Nameless was investing all these resources into upgrades, right? Whereas True only had one, right? He only had a single Evo Chamber. He was working on +1 range, and that's all he cared about. And yeah, that was a little bit rough there for Nameless. But, you know, game number 1. It's done. We're done with it. We're moving on.
Game.
Warm-up game.
Now here comes the Spine Rush.
Yeah, let's go.
Real quick, because I have a feeling that the next game is going to be a quick one as well. Shout out to Melty here in the chat for resubbing 16 months in a row. The biggest True fan out there, I think. Aside from Kuro.
Yeah, massive shout out to Melty. I also know we've been pretty bad at it today. There's been a lot going on, but thank you so much, Daunted, for resubbing 42 months in a row. That's a lot of months.
That's a lot of months.
That's a lot of months. And at the start of the broadcast as well, Steel Mold and Dally both resubbed, I think, for around like 44 months in a row. Thank you so much.
Those subs are about to start kindergarten. Jeez.
Yeah, that's
almost 4 years, man.
Jesus Christ. 44 months.
Long time. 44 months. Oh, man.
And this is why
long pregnancy.
When Steel Mode, when he resubbed, he was like, yo, where are my quacks? I'm like, that's... When we're getting subs that are 40+ months long, we can't crack that much, mate. Especially consecutively.
I can't count higher than like 7, man. You want me to count to 44? Jesus. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now on Glittering Ashes LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have a blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He is once again teamless, but still Reppin' Papa KJ, he is true.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Singaporean Zerg player representing Team GDA, currently down 0-1 in this series, but not out. It is Nameless. Oh boy. Meanwhile, I do see... Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, I was kind of expecting another bit more of a cheesy build here, but I suppose it makes sense. You want to at least practice your macro once, right, in a series.
Yeah, so far just hatch gas pool from both players. I was about to say, like, yo, the Chad move is to 12 pool and pull the boys on Glittering Ashes. Like,
yeah!
Let's go. We didn't see that. Both of our players are sane. They're not risking anything, but yeah, we'll see if Nameless has anything else in store for us. I did see that Demi was in the chat as well, being like, it looked like Nameless maybe would have messed up his build a little bit. Maybe he got a little bit nervous because he's up against a pro player, so he wasn't able to hit the timing that maybe he would have wanted to with +1 with range. I mean, sorry, with speed.
Warm-up game, you know. Hey, it's game number 1.
Yeah.
You're gonna make mistakes, but yeah, now his tournament life is on the line. So he is just playing it out a lot more safe, you know, just playing regular Lingbane at the start.
Yeah, very standard play from both players. We see the third base at a standard time. We even see neither player skipping their Baneliness as well. So very different compared to game number 1.
And we'll see if we have to strap ourselves in for a longer one. I mean, True did. Was it against Chocolate he went all the way to the late game, or was it a different opponent?
Reaper.
It was against Reaper, there we go. Yeah, True, not one to shy away from the late game ZvZ. Neither is Nameless. Really likes his, not so much mutas, but he likes his Niduses, he likes his Lurkers especially.
Yep, that he does. We'll see if he can get there, as once again, he's the first player to go for their lair. So he is going to be working on that, working on any kind of tech. He's taking his gases. We'll see if he does decide to go for something like mutas, or if he sticks with Roach Ravager. I'm curious about True, though, because Nameless, he sneaks in, he gets a full scout, and he's like, yo, still got nothing but hatches, mate. You know, what's going on here? When? Oh, okay, there we go. After Lings get dealt with, then the lair starts.
That's when, yeah. Hopefully that answers his question.
I mean, Nameless doesn't know.
Oh, true.
It is true.
I get it.
Oh, God. Thank God Steel isn't casting this. That would be awful.
Give it a week, pal.
Oh, God. Shaking my head, mate, shaking my head. But there we go, Roach Speed does begin now that the lair is done. We see nothing but droning for the time being. I was gonna say, you could argue maybe Nameless was being a little bit more inefficient because he did morph in some defensive banelings, but True does as well, but he's the one going across the map.
Yeah, you wouldn't really call it inefficiency if it keeps you alive, and that's exactly the name of the game right now for Nameless. He just really wants to make sure he can get to a nice, stable mid-game before anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the banelings are rolling on in. They're getting into the middle line. Oh, God! No! There's still one left.
Unfortunate.
Ay.
All the links have been dealt with here for Nameless, and yeah, True didn't even need to use his final Baneling. Now it finally gets popped. But only after 7 drones go down. I didn't even notice that. Is True making any more reinforcements? Okay, he stopped making lings, but he is still wreaking havoc over on this side of the map.
Yeah, he's still going!
How does he still get drone kills?
I
11
know!
go down!
Like, True wasn't reinforcing, as you were saying. He just had a handful of Lings and 4 Banes, and he just went to town, and Nameless kind of fell apart. He only had a single defensive Baneling to begin with, and God, like, he did end up losing far too much there. He's going for a counterattack, but True is making 15 Roaches.
He is making 15 roaches, but they're all going to be at the front of his bases. Nameless, getting a little bit desperate here. He knows he needs to, pull off a little bit of a risk if he wants to get back in this game. And that's where the Nidus comes in.
Yeah, we don't really have vision in the main base, but he does have an Overseer, so maybe he can get a Changeling into the main and maybe try and bamboozle True that way. Even with the Nidus though, I don't know if he can really get too much done, just because True has so many roaches on the ground, and he's already headed towards the third.
Holly's doing a decent job of distracting the army a little bit, but yeah, now there's nothing really stop True's path into that third base. Nameless has to make a decision. Where does he send his army? And he's gonna have to use it for defense right now.
Yeah, like he wanted to go for that Nidus so badly. He does have an Overseer in the main base, but it's a little bit too late. He is trying to force this back. The upgrades are even, and he does have a single Ravager behind this.
And I'm liking this position a lot more right now for Nameless, but here come the Ling reinforcements.
Yeah.
This position is going to break very, very soon.
Yeah, exactly. The Lings do such a good job at buffering for the roaches of True. He closes the distance, gets on top of everything, and yeah, the Nidus is not going to come into play. I mean, there were some Overseers, but all only hockey. They're coming back home.
And feels bad. Having a couple of meteors come out to really seal the deal. Good game, well played is called, and True is going to make it to the semifinals to face Oreo.
Oh!
ZvZ.
GG, well played. Massive shout out to Nameless. Again, he is an amateur player. He is a Masters player, but he was able to test his mettle against True, and I hope he's able to learn from this. Hope he's able to grow from this and to improve and become one of the best players in Singapore. More
importantly, I hope to see him more here in the Sparkling Tuna Cup as well.
Exactly. Meanwhile,
great place against the practicing.
Yeah, we are getting ready for our semifinals. You just mentioned it. I'm so excited. We didn't get to cast it, unfortunately, but Oreo, he took down Beastork. That doesn't happen too often, mate.
It really doesn't. Beastork with his PVZ. I mean, forged in the flames of Go-Go Joey and whatnot. Finally, he meets his match against our very own Cranky Duckling, Oreo.
Yeah, let's go.
Which will also put Oreo as the highest placing C/OC player.